everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So, it's no surprise, but we can clearly say that the conviction no one really cares about, right? The conviction that wasn't. And Democrats think, oh, Trump, convicted felon. That means he ain't going to win. Therefore, Biden's going to pick up Texas. Biden's going to pick up Georgia, which today's video is on. Biden's going to flip Florida. Biden's going to flip North Carolina. Heck, he's going to get away with Kansas and South Carolina and Iowa. It's going to be a blue wave because Trump has the letter C by his name. But what they don't know about is people want to know why someone has the letter C by your name, right? People want to know why. And compared to the average Democrat, or maybe these Dumbo individuals, like Let's Talk Elections, he thinks, oh, if you're an indicted person or indicted individual or a convicted felon, you lose an election. Maybe for him, all it takes is for him to trust what he sees. But the thing about Let's Talk Elections, the thing about him is Let's Talk Elections is an NPC. He has zero brain cells to comprehend and think for himself. He basically sees convicted felon and he doesn't even think why. What's the reason why this individual is a convicted felon? We ask, okay, what did Trump do? And that's what a lot of people are still trying to figure out. Hush money isn't illegal. It isn't. It's sketchy, but it isn't illegal. Not if two parties consent. And Stormy Daniels, she opened her big fat mouth, but she agreed to do the hush money with Trump. Wasn't illegal, and that's, once again, took a lot of time for the DOJ, not the DOJ, but Manhattan just judicial attorney's office to try to find something to indict Trump on. But they spew propaganda points. It doesn't even work. And in the end, you get that. Compare that with the business assets, right? And once again, Trump, we know, paid the bank back. He paid back the bank despite majority of businessmen going through the same process as Trump, where, hey, I have to pay the bank back at a later date because, you know what, we're in turmoil times. Apparently, the Daily Show guy, he can go through that because he has a D by his name. But Trump, because he's a conservative, evangelical, white conservative, and when he does that, he gets convicted for it. This is how it goes. So we're gonna be doing another prediction. Basically, update from up to updates. I'm basically going to say, you know what? It's going to look a lot like it's not going to change, but it's going to look like it's going to look like the 2022 gubernatorial race right here. And why do I think it's going to look like this? Well, this is an example on where Republicans won this election, and that's because of the poor liberal black turnout. And of course, we want conservative black turnout, right? We want conservative black turnout. We need as much voters as we can, but liberal black turnout. A lot of African Americans in Georgia like to sit out. in elections. They'll vote in elections, but there's going to be a lot of African Americans that will sit out in elections because, once again, A, they might be critical to both parties or both candidates, or B, they just have a life to live. Okay? So that is a reason, that's an example in the end of the day on what it looks like. And when you want those voters especially to stay home. Sure, you want to win those black votes, but there's some black voters that won't vote for you because, I don't know, they might believe the liberal media that you're a racist, you're a white supremacist. Yeah, they might believe you, or they might just not like you because of this policy and this policy. So there's the fact that, yay, you're probably not going to win a lot of the voters. That's why at, you just push for them to stay home. Of course, you can't show up to their door and say, hey, how about you not vote in this election? That would sound a little awkward. um I'm like, okay, I am considering it. Like, they're already considering it. You're putting all the work to make them not vote. But this is sort of what I think it's going to look like. Yes, you'll see Trump carries these 4 black counties, and these counties are moderate. They tend to vote Democrat, and they tend to vote Republican in elections where it doesn't really matter. The governor's race is a big race in Georgia, and you'll see Brian Kemp managed to pick up these counties over here, same counties in the end of the day. So, yes, 134 counties going for Donald Trump. So, what else? Looking at the results, I would say everyone's saying, oh, I still want to make sure. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up. A conviction is a conviction. I don't really think so, especially in these type of days. You can if you can now convict anyone for any reason. We saw the corruption in our justice system. The Democrats have been talking about corruption in the justice system since day one, from the civil rights movement all the way to now. And even even to the point where they're now taking it back. Oh, the justice system's just fine. Nothing to worry about here. And a lot of voters are seeing the hypocrisy. Because in the end of the day, the Democrats were the ultimate enemy of the deep state, right? The deep state. The deep state was the big government was the one that was prosecuting African Americans. The deep state was the one that put Rosa Parks, convicted her. She's a criminal, technically, still in the books. And then again, that rallied the progressive social justice left. And in the end of the day, the social justice left prevailed against the deep state. But now it seems that the social justice left took over the deep state, and now they're taking control. So it's okay for them to abuse people, but it's not okay for the deep state, right? It's not okay for the other side or the right side of the aisle to do it. See how that goes. The hypocrisy is amazing. So I honestly don't recognize the conviction because it's sort of like identity politics. So, kind of like identity politics because it's like mind games now. You're playing around with the truth of things. Now it went from becoming whatever you want with your gender, switching your gender, creating your own sexual group and affiliation, and now we're um going around and now we're so basically in the end of the day we're letting someone else control our opinions. We can't think for ourselves. Sure, the social left is thinking for itself when it comes to identifying with certain groups, or like let's just say transgender or part of the LGBT. But that's sponsored. That idea is sponsored by the left wing media, the deep state. That's a distraction. They want you to be distracted by your gender. They want you to be distracted by your sexuality and celebrate Pride Month, right? They want you to do that. That's the distraction. But when it comes to these issues, like Donald Trump getting convicted, and we say, you know what, I don't think we recognize it. We are denying a jury result. Well, it's kind of funny because MSNBC just recently went on a tangent rant on how Republicans denied the 2020 election, and now they're denying the conviction. Well, the thing about MSNBC is MSNBC doesn't understand that this is a free country where we can believe what we want to believe. That's a part of the deal. MSNBC is probably the biggest mainstream news source for the deep state. They promote deep state authoritarian talking points, and they believe, in the contrary, that you have to believe what we tell you because we are the big people. We're the big guys. We know the news. We have our head in the news, and we can tell you about the news. You have to believe what we say. And if you don't, then you're spreading right-wing MAGA misinformation. That's how they roll. That's why you get people in MSNBC that are so crazy, like Joe Scarborough and Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, and they're just crazy. And then again, they have it synced into their brain, locked in their brain, that they're a victim. Well, you are a victim. You're a victim of the deep state. You're slaved. Yep, you are literally chained to the deep state. So ultimately, at the end of the day, what people will ask, and I suppose a lot of people are going to ask me, what do you think the the conviction how will that affect Georgia? Well, then again, no real issue affects Georgia unless it involves something racial, right? Something that's going to get black liberals out and voting. If a second George Floyd happened, well, guess what? That unifies the black left, and there you go. You get a blue Georgia. But when you have abortion and just a conviction and all that stuff, that's not really going to get black voters in Georgia to come and vote for you. And then again, Biden himself needs black voters. And that's the key to win Georgia. Black voters. Black voters makes a difference. And if in these elections, when we see if the candidate doesn't get the black voters out, take Stacey Abrams, a I would say a black woman failed to gain. She won the black vote, obviously, but she didn't win it when the threshold needed to win the election. Because sure, she campaigned as a black woke woman. But the thing about Stacey Abrams is a very, very controversial player. She um is I she kind of upsets a lot of black Christian Baptists, especially with her porn novels. Um, when it comes to her writings. So yes, she is not very popular amongst her own crowd, and that's pretty much the reason. And I'm not saying, oh, nominate a black person for black Democrat, and he'll win. No, well, there's a lot of people won't come out and vote for you because you're black, and I hope they wouldn't, because reasonable people should vote for you if you have good character and you're actually qualified for the job. Stacey Abrams um held office in the Georgia House of Representatives, and but is that really a qualified office for the governorship? Anyway, no, the conviction won't affect Georgia. I think Trump's going to win Georgia um, either way, um, unless something he does really upsets the black left, and that rallies the black left to go out and vote for him. But as long it seems like the black left is united on free Palestine, right? They're especially in the Atlanta area, and that is to benefit Trump. We want the black left to be distracted, occupied with something else, so we can swoop in and win. We do not want the black left to participate and vote for Biden. If they do, we lose, especially in Georgia. So, what do you guys think? Anyway.